Is Jiri a guy that you had been feels like you've been preparing for so long, ever since he had given up the belt and then you won the belt?
Well, even before that, I wanted to fight him long before that. I asked for this fight. I believe the first time was maybe back in 2021 when he first got here. So I'd already had it in my mind, like, yep, this is a guy I start to kind of be aware of and be on the lookout for, and that's we eventually might meet.
What was it about him that made you want him to fight him so long ago? Was it the name as a former champion of the promotion? Was it his fighting style? What about him specifically did you want to fight back then?
Well, I didn't really know who he was or know anything about his career before he got to the UFC. It was just a style. He came in, he burst on the scene in a very big way with a big knockout over a guy that's been here for a while, who I thought I might be on a collision course too. But then after that, it was like, okay, this guy's got a fun style. He's got an exciting style, and it'd be nice to share the cage with him. I believe we put on a good show. I mean, his style and how he fights is pretty much the same. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess, is kind of like the thing. Obviously, he's had the losses now, but before then, he had, what, like 25 plus knockouts at the time, so he's proven that his style is effective, and it can be effective against the best in the world. So, I don't know.
And you've made it known, like you see some of the comments about you on social media and you respond to some. But what's it like to see the fans say these one things, but the people that actually are around you and seeing you training, they know what you can do and they're picking you to pull off this victory?
Yeah, I mean, as far as everything, like for the stuff online, it's just people talking. I understand that, it's hard to watch other people do things that maybe you wish that you could do, or maybe that you would want to do, or maybe you don't have the courage to do, and then so you want to kind of spit out some venom and try to bring them down to a certain level of maybe where you are, or maybe you feel about yourself. So I just don't really focus on that. It's more the fact that the guys that are actually in here that take the same risk in me and do it, and they respect it and they understand what I'm putting into this. That means a lot more than any weirdo sitting in his mom's basement talking with Cheeto dust and shit.
What do you think a win here does for you, right? Like, do you think this sets you right into another championship fight, or is it going to depend if Ankalaev fights Alex and maybe wins and they do a rematch there, or are you feeling you win here the way you want, your next fight is for a championship?
Yeah, 100% I feel a win here, especially a dominant, impressive win here. Next fight is title. Next fight is championship. I don't see why it wouldn't be. Ankalaev fought number 4, or something like that last, and then that just says title. So I'm fighting number 2 in the world. I don't see me going backwards from that.
Jamahal, people trying to criticize you for engaging with fans about the Pereira rematch and stuff like that, but realistically, what you're doing is creating a backstory for why people would want to see the rematch. Do you think people underestimate that you involving yourself in that is actually setting you up for a championship fight should you win on Saturday?
Some people are stupid. You can't fix stupid. I mean, you can't. 1 + 1 still equals 2 to me, but to some people, common sense ain't common. So it's 100%. That's what I feel. That's what I feel it is. That's what I feel it's done. I believe we come with both exciting styles to put on a performance and leave a lasting memory whenever we step in the cage. People liked it and loved the moment so much the last time. So why wouldn't want it again? Plus, I'm not making any excuses because I signed the contract. I came in, I felt ready to go, and I felt like I was good. But still, it's 9 months off of an Achilles injury. I'd like to see what I do now with where I'm at now.
I kind of want to go back to you made a comment about the weirdos eating Cheetos in their mom's basement collecting dust. Is there ever any weird interactions in person, like when you're out and fighters, they go and they take pictures with fans and they interact with them? Is there ever a part of you that's thinks in the back of your mind, man, is this guy that's asking me for a photo right now, is he one of these guys that talks trash, or are you all pretty cool with them?
It could creep in. It could creep in there sometimes, but for the most part, no. People are respectful to my face. I've never had a fan come up to me and come with any of the type of energy that you see online, but that's why they do it online. Because they, like I said before, they just want to try to bring you down, sold you on the moment. But everybody knows, like man to man, Like, it's a reason why like we're respectful to each other whenever we tell them we're cordial, because there's always that underlining of violence that, you know what I mean, that could happen. And even though it's a violent sport that we do and they love to talk about it, they're not about it, you know. So, and another thing that's like kind of crazy to me as far as that goes, so when sometimes, you know, I'd be laying in my bed chilling, and then, you know, I decide to troll back a little bit, you know. I'll throw my little pokes out there, my little jabs out there, and every time I do it, I find it interesting that the headlines, oh, Jamal loses it, he's spazzing out, oh, he's crazy, and something, it's like always like something's wrong with me. So I rarely say anything back, right? You guys do this all the time. So whenever I say something, if I troll, I got a mental issue, but you sit and do this all the time, what does that say about you?
The fight with Pereira, that had that weird circumstance where it looks like the referee was going to say, let's stop the action for a minute, and then Powhatan waved him off, stepped up, and cracked you. So there is kind of a little bit of an asterisk in my mind on that. Is that something you think about anymore, or you just put that out of your head at this point?
I mean, it is what it is. I focus on the things I control. I can't change the past or anything like that. You know, for me, I just kind of spoke on it just because for me it was strange. In my mind, in that moment, it was still kind of a pause. I know a lot of what was made of it was the fact that I threw, and I did throw, but it was more so a reflex. It wasn't something like, if you notice the way that I fight, I'm calculated. I set things up, and I have a game plan for the things that. In that moment, there was no game, and it was just all raw natural instinct and raw, like, you know what I mean, just raw reflexes from the fact of like. I just never seen nothing like that before.
Yeah.
Like, especially there's not something that typically happens. Like, you hear a ref yell stop. People will say like, oh, he stopped. Was the step in, but he yelled stop from the beginning. I'm standing. My legs were completely locked. I'm standing straight up. First thing I did was ask him, yo, you good? You okay? And I went out to touch gloves. The touch gloves wasn't for a restart. That was touch gloves to let him know if I did, which I didn't think that I did in the moment, hit you low. My bad. That's not how I want this fight to go. And then he was just like, he was still locked in and ready to come in and take advantage.
If there was to, it looks like they may make the fight with Pereira and Ankalaev. So who do you got in that fight?
If that fight does, if that is the fight that they're gonna do, it's an interesting one. It's a really big toss up. Pereira's always evolving. He's always in the gym, so he's gotten better in a short amount of time, because I believe that can be attributed to the fact that he kind of came into this game a little late, so he's still a little wide-eyed and still a little, you know what I mean, still got that new sense of things. All right, cool, excitement for learning new things and adding new things. Well, what can I add to my game to be effective here, and kind of things like that, as opposed to somebody that's been around for quite a while and kind of figured into their game. But Ankalaev is game. I don't like the motherfucker, but he's game. You know what I mean? He's got good striking. He's willing to mix in the wrestling and willing to put him in that whole little wheel of work, to where he's just kind of just work between the strikes and the up and the down and things like that. So I believe it's a really, really good matchup. I believe it's really a toss up. If I had to put my money, or if I was putting money out there, I'd probably keep it in my pocket, to be honest with you, because it's that much of a toss up. But Ankalaev's got some good tools that I believe that he can catch people saying, oh, if he stands up with me, like with the way that he strikes, you know, he don't really take a lot of chances, you know. So I believe there's a way that he can have success there, and then if Alex does try to press him, he can still wrestle him. So that's just kind of like the mix up in there is going to be kind of like that, versus how Alex is going to mix up his approach to striking and all those things with him.